All right, so hello, test, test. Bam, bam.
All right, so
All right. So
hello, test,
we
test.
are actually broadcasting. Boom.
All right.
So what's going on, people?
We are.
It was not a good betting weekend. Little bit of a struggle in terms of the two main bets that I made public and that we're very much that you were all very aware of, which was Tom Aspinall and Paul Craig. We saw that bout with Paul Craig. Man, that I mean, a lot of some guy next to me was like complaining on why he was really just going onto his back and hoping that Volkan Ozdemir would follow him down there. As I mentioned in Ranj's capper comparison picks, had a good time there with Ranj. Boom. Giving my opinions on the fights. It was a good time. It was awesome to be part of something live. Would like to do that again. I don't know when I'll have time. Bad part is losing. Oh, come on. Flip over, camera. Flip over. Come on. You could do it, camera. Actually, it's funny, like, I'm actually okay on the, oh, yeah, let's do this. Let's do this. Boom. Boom. Boomhauer. Is that it? Is that it? Is that it, guys? Yeah, so it was definitely a rough night of betting. I mean, my two largest bets were Paul Craig via sub and then Tom Aspinall. And I went even larger on Aspinall after I lost that Paul Craig bet. I did make a very nice chunk of change on Klein Leduvit. I picked him on the money line, and I also got him at plus 900 via decision. So I only threw $25 on that decision prop, but at plus 900, it really helped out. And as I usually do, I flip that profit, or I flip that money into Tom Aspinall, especially as after I threw a flyer, and it was just a half unit, $50 on Gustafson. And again, these flyers, I always mention to people, my impromptu betting, where it's like, oh man, all right, I got the money, let's just do it. It ends up cutting into your profit and ends up hurting. But Tom Aspinall just not, that fight just not going to just not happening. Really, like what? We're like, we're at, oh, that was the other bet that killed me. I had Paddy Pimblett by TKO for a unit. And I should have just bet the finish. I was being a little greedy because I got the TKO prop at plus 440, and then I got the round one TKO prop at plus 700. So I just jumped on it right when I saw it, and it was, again, a little bit more of the impromptu betting that ended up costing me some money. But in the end, it really just came down to Tom Aspinall, me making money or not making money. So this is a little natural cigar. It's Project 40. It's inexpensive. I smell. It's got a lot of spice to it, a lot of pepperiness already. Not a lot of oils to it. Ooh, little tear there. Lots of pepper. Lots of pepper on this cigar. Little pepper in there, my boys. So, some wood, some cedar. It definitely is not the ripest nor the most oily of cigars. It looks better on camera than it does in person. It's called the Project 40. It's an experimental series. Again, I know very little to nothing about it. I'm assuming it has a lot of Nicaraguan fillers and characters to it. But again, as I mentioned earlier, that's not being said that it doesn't have components that are Dominican, Ecuadorian, Brazilian, and even or Mexican. So Alec Bradley, I've been impressed with these guys. I had another cigar that I tried to do a sip and smoke with where I wasn't able to go live, where that cigar, I forget the name of it right now, was really, really, really good. Very leathery, chocolatey, huge earth characteristics, very mild, full-bodied. It wasn't even a Maduro. It had the Medusa's heads on it, but this is I was so impressed by that cigar that I bought a couple Alec Bradleys. I'm going to smoke this one today, but I also have, let's bring that out. And I don't mind putting my cigars in these Tupperware things, especially if something I need to actually get more cedar. But I got this Black Market cigar, this Toro. Oh my God, that smells so good. This one really has, like, it doesn't have the pepperiness. It has everything that I like. That beyond the, like, it has super strong earth tones. I can smell a little plantain, a little sweetness. This is going to be a good cigar. I anticipate this one being awesome. But today we're gonna smoke the cheaper one and the one that was just the plus 240. Brian, hey, well, Josh, he doesn't bet, right? So it doesn't matter what you pick; it matters what you bet. Like, we all pick winners. I think it's pretty damn easy. I was hurt, of course, by, and is always hurt by, picking, methodologies, which is fine. That's what I do. That's one of my special, everybody was like, oh, you're always picking this and this and that. But you know what? It paid off with Klein Leduvit. That like one bet, $25, him at plus 900, paid for all my other bad little sprinkles. Ooh, that was not good. You don't want to do that. Like, this cedar is burning rapidly, and it burnt the shit out of this cigar here. And the good thing is I'm holding it higher now, right? But that was not very wise to do. A lot of times was able, and I'm still able, if you're patient enough, you could light a cigar without puffing it. You don't actually have to inhale it. Right away, I like, there is a slight butterscotch tone to this. This is like, I always mention that, like, oh, you need to sit on this cigar, just like wines. You really do need to age these things. Unless you're buying like a Rocky Patel in a bundle, or some of these cigars that are like your everyday smokes, most of these cigars are intended for you to sit on, to age a slight bit. And I recommend that. So I'm going to build that humidor, as I mentioned before. I had that humidor in the back there, or that box. I'm going to build the humidor again. I'm getting back into cigar smoking and critiquing cigars. Ooh, take it easy there. Wow. Yeah, again, lots of earth tones on this particular cigar. It had a pepperiness on the nose, but on the taste, on the palate, there is no pepper whatsoever, which is interesting. So I overlit this. You see that, like, you don't want that char and blackness on the sides there. I was too harsh with the oh wow. This is surprisingly, for an inexpensive cigar, this is a very, very, very good cigar. It has a very natural earthiness to it, with a little sweetness, and if you could find that in a naturale that has a little sweet character to it, man, you want that. Especially if you could sit on it and everything becomes more accentuated, more pronounced over time. This is something I need to go back and get more of these and sit on them. Mm. Excellent. Excellent cigar. A lot more leather, like not even strong leather. It's like a soft texture to it, a silkiness in its smoke. So it doesn't have really a full body, but it's there. And the sweetness is just so subtle. It's really just excellent. Mm. I like the cigar. This is a very, very good, inexpensive cigar. I'm just drinking it with some cheap, Goose Island IPA. Nothing fantastic. Shit, I forgot I got some Bear Hug, in the fridge. But wow, I'm glad I grabbed this. Glad I'm sharing this with you guys. Very silky. Very silky, very soft and subtle flavors. Easy smoke. If I were to like give somebody that doesn't smoke cigars a cigar to smoke, this might be something like that, right? Because it has enough other flavor characteristics that will teach them about cigars, so it isn't just a mild Macanudo or a very soft Connecticut shade where it's just one dimensional. This has a little bit more diversity in its palate and in its flavor set, where you could tell, and there are hints of other kinds of flavors that you could talk to them, and somebody who's smoking them that's even a novice is going to be like, yeah, I see what you're saying, and that's why I like this cigar a lot. It is very, very has a soft diversity to it. It's not super peppery, so it's not going to overwhelm your novice smoker. And if this, once it smooths out and it gets richer, because this one was dry, it came out of a cello. What's up, Illinois Bigfoot? Hope everything's well, man. Hope you did good this weekend. I lost big because I went big. Sometimes I rarely go big. I'm going to be full disclosure. I'm not that dude that bets $500 on one bet. I have a $100 bet, $150 bet, $200 bets. My biggest bet earlier in the year was Max Holloway at $260, or actually it was more. It was close to $300. And then I matched that, if not went greater, on Aspinall. It bit me on the butt today, in this particular instance, but I was still confident in it. I think even Aspinall coming out made some big mistakes. He got tagged, and he felt some power. And for anybody that's saying that, oh, it was just a fluke, no, it's not a fluke. If you kick somebody incorrectly, it's your fault. Like, you kicked the guy and you got hurt. He beat you, right? It's like you didn't beat yourself, or it isn't like an accident. No, he had the physical conditioning, the stature and ability to absorb your kick, and you hurt him kicking him. Like, that's your fault. If you punch somebody and you break your hand and they absorb your punch, that's your fault. You lost. It's not like, oh, it was an accident. Oh, it's a freak fight. Oh, you didn't really legitimately win the fight. No, you legitimately won the fight. So anybody out there that, and I couldn't believe how well Curtis Blades was such a respectful guy. So, because he's from De La Salle here in Chicago, Catholic upbringing. He was so respectful. It was amazing. He didn't jump up like O'Malley's already, like trying, moving up the, put his hands up right away, ran up on top of the ring. Curtis Blades should have done that shit. I was hoping he should have, because he deserves a championship. He deserves to be up there. He is one of the elite fighters in the heavyweight division, and it has always been, right? But he didn't play that out. He didn't show up to the fans. He didn't show up to the camera, but he should have, because he beat somebody that, as he mentioned, this guy's a gatekeeper. They're trying to, the UFC continuing to try to make a name off of me, and he just showed that, hey, you can't overlook that guy. He's not somebody that, you think he's just going to sit there and let you kick him or whatever. Like, the guy's built like a rock. Yeah. So this is a bit. It's a naturale. It's a very light naturale. I would normally prefer something that has a more full body, but this is a nice sort of everyday casual little smoke. It's a tight roll. It was very dry when I got it, but I wasn't, again, I don't know much about it. But now there is that little slight pepperiness to it, but it's not very strong. So this is a really nice cigar. I'm for $5.65, this Project 40 from Alec and Bradley, I'm very, like, having the second cigar, I didn't have Alec and Bradley before, and this is the second cigar I've had from them, and I have that third one that's going to be down the pipe for another sip and smoke later in the week, possibly. I'm just discerning whether I'm going to bet this week. I do have a few plays that I want to make, and it's just tough. It's just tough to justify because I want a new computer. I lost a couple hundred here this card, but I didn't do horrible, right? Like my picks weren't horrible. It's just my plays were bad. Aspinall really is what hurt me most, and the Paul Craig. I didn't have that Paul Craig submission line. I had him at Paul Craig. I had him on the money line at plus 150. So I had already had a unit at plus 150, and then once I was at the casino, and then the submission line dropped to plus 200, it made no more sense for me to invest anything else into Paul Craig, thankfully. But I flipped that same, what I was going to put into him, I said, forget it, I'm just going to put it into Aspinall. And Aspinall was my biggest money line bet so far of the year, of $400 on the money line at various increments, and I lost it. So that was my bankroll for the past a little, I wrote another 100, but that was what I was been working with for the past like 5 events. So that's not good. So that means I'm down like now for the year another $500 or so, and I'm down for the year about $2,000. I'm guesstimating that. I need to actually research it, but I think I'm fairly accurate in thinking that I'm down $2,000 this year. And when your betting increments are half unit or $50 to $100, $2,000 is a lot to make up. That's not going to be an easy. One event or 2 events aren't going to be able to make up that amount of money right now. So, not happy about it. It's rough, but at least most of that money is 2 bets, right? If we look at like Max Holloway being a little over $320. Aspinall being in that $400 areas, so $700 of that $2,000 is just in those 2 particular bouts, those 2 particular bets. So that's not horrible, but still, it's just going to be hard to get back that money. And so, yes, I worked that overtime. Really like this cigar. Again, I don't know a lot about it. It's the Project 40. Alec Bradley. Highly recommend this cigar company. I've just been turned on to it because I'm just getting back into cigars, but so far the 2 cigars that I've sampled for them have been exceptional. Very, very good. I had it wasn't a Maduro, and it wasn't even an Oscuro, but I forget the name of the cigar that I had, but man, that cigar was really, really good. And that one was like at the $10 area, and I have another one, as I mentioned, it had great packaging that I just bought. It was like $11 at Binny's. So any of these cigars, if you're in the United States and you go to Binny's, you should be able to get these. Or at your local cigar area. I don't mind the ash, really good color. You see the uniformity in its burn, so it's actually well rolled. I think these guys are doing really well. They come from a cigar family, so I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Well, I'll tell you what, Real News MMA, and I'm not there yet, but the talk in the casino with some of the sharps in the casino was, again, to fade Amanda Nunes. Everybody was jumping on Juliana Pena and already grabbing her right now before her number gets closer, or while there's still a lot of juice in there. I don't know. You should be able to get these in Canada. Real news, in Canada, you have Canada cigars are super expensive in Canada. Very nice. Subtle, mild, a hint of sweetness, very subtle earth tones, nothing overwhelming. A good, like, beginner cigar, entry-level cigar, or just an everyday smoke, something that's unoffensive. And I needed that cigar fix, like I needed the booze fix. I needed a cigar today. I felt like I had to go and get me a cigar. And I'm glad I smoked this one. I grabbed another Lagora Cubana Maduro. I grabbed another Series R Toro. And then, so I grabbed a few other cigars that we're going to have on the Sip and Smoke series here. But I'm very, very impressed. So this is my Alfred Dunhill. I've had this cigar holder. This cigar cutter, I'm sorry, is like 20 years old. These were $100 back in the day. So I'm gonna grab a little slice. Ooh, so slice that off. Got a little ash there on the desk. Well, this is a lot better than the Xanax. I'll tell you what, this cigar right here, oh, real news, I got killed, bro. I win a full unit, $100, which is my max bet on a kind of prop like that. So I threw 40 on the TKO round one, which he wanted to do, right? And obviously Pimlet knew that. I'm sorry, our twerker knew that, and that's why he hugged him right away. And then I had just the TKO prop, right, for another $60. And I loved the number, right? I fell in love with the number. I fell in love with the dialogue, and I was wrong. Here's a fighter saying, hey, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. And he wanted to, but the submission was there. He could have TKO'd him, but that submission was an excellent submission. Excellent submission. And we do know now that Pimlet's jiu-jitsu is legit, right? He may not have the best hands, right? We didn't get to see his hands or the best technique grappling, but his jiu-jitsu, being able to submit this guy was a feather in his cap. It is what it is. The irony is that I mind that bet where I'm burnt or more butt sore or more upset about losing that bet of Paddy Pimlet via submission, via TKO rather than submission, more than I am Aspinall, right? When I bet max bet on simple prop bets like that and I lose them, it really hurts. It really hurts big time, and that hurt me more than anything else, because if I make that bet, I probably would have flipped it into Aspinall, because at that point I wanted more money. And that's why I went large on Aspinall. I was like, fuck this. I got the money here. It's in my pocket. We're doing all or nothing. I threw it all the money I had left, all the couple $100 I had left, put it right into Aspinall. It didn't work out, right? So all those guys saying that I don't bet the biscuits, that I don't go big or whatever. Hey, I got all my tickets. People, even Ron Jazz, why do you keep the tickets? I'm like, well, eventually I'll look through them all, can analyze what I'm doing. Sure, I could chart other bets, but one day I want to sit down and actually really just assess what I've been doing myself. Look, and I could break them down a little bit better in terms of prop bets. I could separate the round plays. I could separate the time props. I could actually put them all into an Excel spreadsheet, and I'll have a genuine, better breakdown of what it is that I've been doing and what I've been betting and how I've been betting and how successful I've been betting. But I know right now, as always, full disclosure and honesty has always been the cornerstone of what I do. And I know that I'm down, about 2 G's, man. So, we're hurting here. 2 G's is new computer money. That's trip money. That is, new computer money to help the channel, I think is more important, right? I want to get back to doing my, more like my shows. I've never really wanted to be, a live kind of person, but I love these sip and smoke things because even though Joey doesn't like it, I love doing these cigar reviews and a beer review. Fucking enjoy it. Enjoy smoking a cigar here. And that's all I wanted to do is come and smoke a cigar, tell you guys that I did lose yesterday. Didn't do horrible, right? Because I had very few. It's because of that. Actually, I didn't do horrible because of the Klein Ladovit bet. I bet him on the money line half unit. Then I did $25 or a quarter unit on the decision at plus 900. Both those bets paid for all the other sort of flyer bets that I put out, which were horrible. Like in terms of when I was at the casino, like none of them worked out because I was trying to be pretty and sweet, trying to do like these rounds here and there. And these, I didn't mind the Gustafson, a half unit on Gustafson. Man, he got starched. This cigar ooh, look at it, it's coming a little undone. And I think it was like shipped a little dry. But man, the flavors and the character of this cigar is really good. Yeah, I mean, I weigh the grappling big, man. I grab, it doesn't matter what I've done. I mean, like, I love grappling. Like, I watch, like, Illinois and Indiana State, like, local wrestling shit from, like, high school guys and club wrestling. I watch that shit on my free time. Like, when I'm at work, I actually watch more of that shit than I do MMA stuff now at this point. Like, I'm just watching these local kids wrestle because the wrestling is just so different than when I was younger. It's so much faster. It has a physicality that's a little different than when I was younger. Before it was, like when I was younger, power mattered. Now, speed. It's all speed. These kids are so quick transitioning into what they're doing. They get such low stance. And it's really amazing to see how well they can attack from that low, and their just balance is just fantastic. So I've been watching like a lot of amateur high school wrestling now, big time. But in MMA, I'm always going to favor the grappling because every fight can be taken to the ground. Every fight can get there. Like, look at Paul Craig. I thought his grip would be enough, but it says something about Volkan Ozdemir. Volkan Ozdemir has a very strong lower body, strong legs, where he was able to pull out from those leg locks. He was able to pull out from Paul Craig's grip. And then once the second round, once they got all a little sweaty, I knew it was over. Like, there was no way Paul Craig was going to be able to get a submission after that second round. So it hurt a lot, but Paul Craig, he's still a beast, man. He's still a beast. And Ozdemir, you see those holes in his game. Great takedown defense. But Ozdemir is not like the guy that everybody thinks he is. He's still going to be a gatekeeper. And I look for somebody that has like really good wrestling, which is going to be tough in that. Like, where does Ozdemir go at this point? You know what I mean? What does he do? Is he going to fight like Nikita Krylov? He's going to be in a kickboxing match with Nikita Krylov. I'm going to take Nikita Krylov in that all day. I doubt that Krylov ends up being plus money against him, but I think that's what probably the UFC is going to do. So the cigar is starting to expand a little bit, and I think it was a little dry on shipment, right? Like it came in these boxes. Who knows if it was on a truck in the heat for a while? I don't know what Bigfoot's saying, that Dana's not happy for Vulcan. I mean, Vulcan he had the opportunity to be like an exciting fighter, and he doesn't. Look at his personality. Like everybody knows this. I continue to mention it. We're in the fight entertainment business. It just isn't your ability to fight that's going to determine the matchups that you're going to get. And Vulcan can't sell a fight. He didn't sell this fight. Even when he was on the mic, he was boring. I forgot who he called out. But it was another lame fight. It was like, dude, you're lame. So Vulcan isn't going to be able to move forward as he should. Looking at this, that wrapper, I mean, is a little suspect. And as a recommendation to you guys, when you see your cigar start to become disheveled this way, don't fuck with it. If anything, you could, put a little, try to get it down, little, but the more you fuck with it, the more it's going to be messed up. Just let it be and smoke it. I could see from this separation that the wrapper is not like a super premium wrapper, but that doesn't matter because maybe it's an inexpensive cigar. It's $5.90, and it's still flavorful. I think it just needed to be humidified and sat on a little bit, but I could see that the wrapper was not like the highest quality just not the highest quality, but it's still very tasty. So would I buy this again? Absolutely. I would just sit on them, rehydrate them. So like when it's blowing up like this, it means it was like way too heat. It's burning way too hot. And but when you start to see your leaf go apart like this and it balloons up, your cigar balloons up, leave the band there. Just keep smoking it. Don't fuck with it. It'll still smoke. Just don't mess with it so much. Not a bad cigar. So I'm going to leave the band there. It was tightly rolled, and I think that it was more, again, I think what happened, I saw the box, and it came in tight in this white box, which is still not bad. And I just got it. It was fresh off a shipment. Like there was some shipment, like that's another thing to do sometimes, guys. When you're at Binny's or you're at the cigar shop, especially at Binny's, like there's an invoice there and the cigars just came in. Look at what cigars came in. Look at those. Like these were Alec Bradley's. There was a shipment of Alec Bradley's that came in, and I was like, hey, can you open those up? What do you think? And the guy was like, sure, because he didn't know any fucking difference. And these could be some limited, editions, some special cigars that just came in, and I was able to take advantage of the guy not knowing, and he opened them up. And I still, again, even though it's coming undone, I still like this cigar. I think it's not the construction. I think it was dried out. We've had some heat wave all over America, so these probably came in, were in this tight cellophane box in a lot of heat, which dried the living crap out of it out, right? So it needed to rehydrate, get some humidity on it, and that didn't happen. I didn't do that. But we're going to start like humidifying our cigars again. I want to build my humidor. And I'm going to start aging cigars again. I'm going to start sitting on them again and having them, because cigars have been a part of my life for a long time. I sold cigars for a few years. I've been part of the cigar community at one point for a long time, so I'm going to go back to it. And I like this whole sip and smoke concept. Shit, I could just fucking smoke, do cigar reviews, you know, and other guys do. So guys, even though I've been losing, or I lost on two big bets, right? My two main plays were Paul Craig and Tom Aspinall, right? So I lost. I have two main plays for next week, and then I have a dog play, right? Let me know what your guys' plays are in the chat here. I'm gonna say right out the gate, I'm feeling Alexandre Pantoja, and Pantoja was at minus 159. He was at minus 150 yesterday. That number is going to increase. I need to get to the casino and place that money, that wager. I'm going to put 2 units on that to win 126. Right? The other bet, if you could cover it, let's see. Oh, Drew Dober has gone up a little bit. He's at minus 250. Quite honestly, guys, I'm so confident in Drew Dober. I wish I could do a max bet on him, but it just doesn't pay the return that I want and that I need to an extent. So Drew Dober, but if I parlay Drew Dober with Alejandro Pantoja, like Alexandre Pantoja, we're at plus 128, right? So I could do a unit there, which will give me another unit 30. I mean, 130 bucks. So it's going to be scraping and crawling, but those are my two main plays. And I have a couple of dog plays in this next card. And that Julia Pena number, Amanda Nunes has dropped another 15 points. You know, Amanda Nunes is now minus 315. She opened up at like minus 360, minus 380. So that money is coming in on Juliana Pena. And I'll tell you what, guys, I wasn't on it. I didn't see it. I still think Amanda Nunes should win that bout. But a lot of sharp money at the casino is going on Juliana Pena to win again, because primarily Nunes revealed that everybody's concerned about her cardio. Can she really go past 1-2 rounds again? Real news. I like Edwards. I'm not on Ankalaev. If anything, I think this is where Anthony Smith, if he could, because Anthony Smith's a tough motherfucker. Like, he's going to be much faster than Ankalaev. His takedown defense isn't fantastic, but we saw that Ankalaev doesn't have the best wrestling right now against bigger guys. Ankalaev is big for the division. I'm leaning slightly with that dog bet on Anthony Smith. He might be one of those dog plays at plus 350 where I see value. And you see, guys, how like if we left that leaf alone, we're going to get past that vulnerable area where the leaf was broken up. So don't fuck with it. Don't pick at it. Let it be. Just smoke it. Just smoke it through. Leave the band on there because the band is holding. And until we get close to the band, you don't want to smoke close to the band. And I could already tell, like, this was just a dry cigar. I think what happened is in a shipment, it dried out. We're in a heat wave worldwide. Really nice cigar. Again, subtle, soft earth tones with a nice light sweetness. No pepperiness at all, even though on the nose, before I smoked it, there was a little pepperiness to it. And I think it's just a little bit young. Runu is saying Ankalaev doesn't add much to any value parlay. Dude, people were fucking parlaying Mokaev. You know, and Mokaev had everybody was like super impressed with Mokaev. I was not. I was not impressed with Mokaev at all. I'm looking to fade that dude. I think he's a little overrated. He's still not faced any sort of competition whatsoever. They're building him up, but we're gonna see. We're gonna see, like, you know, with Sean O'Malley against Peter Yan. I think you know, here's what I wish I could bet that Sean O'Malley is going to back out of that fight. No way that Sean O'Malley wants that fight right now. He knows it. He wants another easier fight for him. He could step into the championship area. It is time, but I would bet $100 that he's going to, like, find some way to get out of that bout. He's not going to fight Peter Yan at this time. No way. See how easy that band come off? What's up, the prodigy? Justin Jr. He's the prodigy. The prodigy is pretty good. I mean, I respect Justin Jr.'s game because the kid, you know, just like this other young kid, Justin does put in his research. Like, I think a lot of, like, Justin, you get a lot of slack because of your online personality is what it is, but you're knowledgeable, right? And I think that you need to start to emphasize that more than, you know, putting yourself just, oh, I'm going to go live, I'm going to go live, I'm going to go live. You know, you're knowledgeable and just focus on your knowledge and go live when you're presenting your information. Like, I think I'm a little different. I'm starting to put my personality out there, not only as an adult, but my personality, not just because I'm doing the sip and smoke thing. It's a little different. Like, I'm trying to add elements to what I bring to the table in terms of my analysis, as well as just like people don't like the product reviews and the reviews on, like I do on the beer and the cigars, but I do. I have knowledge about cigars. I enjoy them. It's something a little different. It separates me from everybody else. But I think you need to take a step back, as I've always mentioned to you, Justin, and focus on what you do best, right? And parts of your chat and online personality isn't what you do best, right? Like, you do best when you are doing your fight analysis and you're doing, you know, presenting your research, right? That's what I think you do fantastically. I respect what you do in that area of the game, man. But pull back on the personality thing, because, you know, that's where it's hit and miss, right? Focus on what you do positively and what you do best, which is providing that great insight into fighting, because you do. The prodigy, Justin Jr., you guys, the prodigy, the guy knows his fighting. I don't tail him on his bets per se, but when I do watch some content, or when I used to for a while when he was under just Justin Jr., which I think he should go back to, I do listen to what Justin Jr. has to say, because I know the guy has done his research, he's done his homework, and he sees things that other people don't see. So good, Justin, exactly. Yeah, you don't want to cause those controversies. You don't want to bring, like, I bring my personality into it, and it could be bad, but you don't have to, man. You're a young kid. You're talented in what you do. You had a good following. Just focus on those things, man. Build up that, and I think you're going to have a space for you in this realm. But our personality does matter. Yeah, I mean, YouTube is too fickle, man. Justin, my channel was set for adult content, and I got, like, suspended. Like, the past couple of days, I was suspended. I wasn't able to upload any content even though my shit was set as an adult content. So like with the beer and the drinking and the cigars, like they banned me. And that's crazy. There are people that like, I'm with people that are smoking weed. You know, they smoke weed, they're drinking like crazy booze, and I'm over here getting suspended. It's like, what the fuck is YouTube doing? So yeah, man, you know, Justin, I know you got the talent, bro. You are one of the prodigies. I know that MMA Genie got banned. I say go back to Justin Jr. being Justin Jr. I think people will like that, even if you're an adult. You know, Ariel Helwani always remained Ariel Helwani, right? You know, the constant changing. Even myself, it's a little different. Again, I like this whole, the sip and smoke thing is a different thing, but you know, you do have talent, you do have insight into this fight game, and you do great research, and it's going to all pay off for you. But we can't just chase it. You know what I mean? Hey, everyone's pretty good, Justin. I mean, like, it's a saturated field, Justin. We're all have good information. Some people are better consistently than bet. So we're gonna have the neon beer hug, Goose Island, some good ass shit. You just said that you were not into the controversy anymore. I get you, brother. Let's just skip that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to harp on you. I don't want to harp on young Bert. And I just want you guys to be very successful. Continue at this in a great artistic, as well as just a good way. You know, all positive vibes for you, bro. Just do you, and focus on what you do well, right? Like you give good fight analysis, and focus on that. And I think you're gonna be you're gonna be doing well, right? And Real News says, yeah, man, I'm trying to figure out if I should stick with this channel or not. Not sure what to do. This is my name, something different with a different art, a new channel, or just change names. No, Real News, like Real News, you get, again, like if we switch our names, you lose a lot of that branding, and you lose like you don't have to rebrand, right? Like I like Real News MMA. It sounds awesome. It's got a niche to it, and you're knowledgeable as well, right? Like if you're providing great chat information, and we use the chat, like I was that person in the chat where everybody was always mentioning, when I went to these YouTube channels, like like they were always commenting, even Moss from MMA Holes, who really gave me my inspiration. He was constantly reading my chats and my opinions on the fights that I was putting on. He was always, didn't give me credit, but he was always like, hey, always reading like my comments, and that was the same for a lot of these other guys, and I appreciated that. You know, like Manpreet, you know, there were a bunch of people that always were like, I'll better this, you know, they all gave me credit, you know, like I was like, wow, these guys are actually paying attention to what I'm saying. Like, that's cool. So I'm more, you know, stick to what you're doing, stick to your guns. And, you know, just don't, like, you have to decide what your goal is here. You know, my goal is I'm content in the production aspect of it, being here, having you guys here is I'm content with that. I don't need the big audience. I don't need to be making any money off of this. I am stoked to have you guys as an audience, have you guys in my chat. I'm just happy creating, putting myself out there it's a lot of fun to me. And it's not about ego for me, and it's not about money. It's really just happy with the process of it. And that's why I want to get my new computer and get back to not just making my live content better, where I could actually demonstrate like some, use some video, change some things up. It really is just attempting or trying to, put myself out there like more, and the more the better. Sure, Bird MMA is huge. Clint's awesome. Manpreet's good. Fight Eye Pick's awesome. MMA holes, fantastic, right? That doesn't mean, like, there are thousands of channels here on YouTube. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't have your niche that you can't enjoy. Like, that's all I'm saying. So I'm stoked with it. I'm not trying to be the man here. At one point I was like, yo, I want to, I could pick better. I'm gambling better than all these people. That shit's, dude, I already figured out these guys are not picking any better or gambling any better than many other people. I still try to give sound advice on other gambling aspects. Like I was, Manny the other night when I was on Ranj's channel gave some good advice. He was, all right, you want to get fancy with your props? Set aside $100 for these crazy props, right? $100. Put these $10. I agree with that. That is kind of the bout better style. Like that kind of advice where grab $100 and you're going to make that $100 and you're probably going to lose most of it. But if you hit one of those crazy round props or those crazy round round method props, you hit one of those that makes that $100 back. Right? And I like that advice. Grab $100. Do these crazy little fancy method / round props, which they're offering now at Rivers, and go with that. You know what I mean? I set out to provide not necessarily better picks, but better information to learn from my mistakes in gambling. Right? Like my mistakes in what I do in my gambling. Not a bad, see? Now the cigar is fine, right? Like we recovered. It's still very dry, but the wrapper is okay. We didn't fuck with it. Just let it burn. Don't fuck with it. Don't mess with it. It's still coming undone now over there. I can see it. See that? Don't fuck with it. And another good thing is a lot of times smoking cigars here guys, I love smoking cigars outdoors, but smoking cigars indoors is always better. You're going to enjoy it a little bit more. It burns better, has a less likelihood of burning incorrectly and becoming undone. I could hear crackling, becoming undone. Real news, hey, we've always talked about this, bro. Hey, the perfection is in the process. The fun is in the process. There are a lot of people that are more knowledgeable than us, that they're afraid to put themselves out there. They're afraid to make the content. Just don't be afraid. Good for you, Justin, man. Like I said, bro, you got the talent. Justin has talent. You are like a little prodigy, and you had a good start because people knew who you are. And regardless of the bridges that you burned, you still have that talent, right? Well, you can't continue to burn those bridges, right? There's no way you're going to be sustainable as a person in life, right? In life, Justin. You're not going to be able to continue like, oh, fuck these people. I don't care. I'm going to do it my way or the highway. You're going to have more avenues for success with just having a more collaborative, more positive, more integral part of what you do. You're going to be more successful. You need other people. Illinois Bigfoot's gonna go and get some stuff. I don't smoke weed anymore. I get randomly drug tested, so that's the other great thing about the cigars and the beer is like, they could drug test me tomorrow, which they might do, at my job, and I don't have to worry about it. You know, it's great. Yes, weed is legal, but in most jobs, or a lot of jobs, at least where I'm working at, they test you randomly. They don't want you high on the job. They don't want you high before the job. And it's nice that, like, if they tested me tomorrow, for example, knock on wood, I don't want to be tested, but I'm like, I know I'm going to pass it. So I'm not going to have to worry about that. I work for an airport. I work around planes, and I work with heavy machinery. I work with, I work around a lot of people driving and a lot of expensive shit. You know, you hit an airplane, you hurt. Here's the other thing, besides the airplane, and I'm going to tell you guys really straight out, like, this is my thing. You don't want to hurt somebody, right? I don't want to have to say, oh, I'm sorry, I ran you over, or I caused you know, like John Jones, oh, I caused a goddamn miscarriage. You know, I don't know how that guy lives with himself, knowing that he hit a woman and caused a miscarriage. I can't live with myself that way. That's not me. I actually care about people, right? Like, you don't want to hit me. You don't want to, I don't care about the job, but if you hurt me because you were high and you did something wrong, you know, it's not going to end. It's not going to end well for you. I'm not going to forgive you, right? I'm not going to forgive you if you fuck up. If you're a drunk driver and you know, I'm not going to go there, but, you know, you're a drunk driver, you hit me, you were found to be driving drunk and I wasn't, you know, like, man, I'm going to have all your information. You hurt my hand, I'm crippled. Guess what? It's not going to be over. Like, so I just think that you want to be professional, be accurate, be sober at your job, be sober at your work. When I'm at work, I'm all professional. Like, I want to do the best job possible, and I don't want to hurt anybody, because I don't want anybody to hurt me because they were, like, overconfident, you know, driving fast or high, you know, or didn't give a fuck, because a lot of people just don't give a fuck. Yeah, real news. Yeah, exactly, man. You're on heavy machinery, dude. Don't even risk it. And here's the other thing: there's no need to risk it, right? You don't need that weed to do your job. Yeah, it makes you feel good. It's great for recovery. It's great to help you sleep. I understand it 1,000%, man. I can't tell you how many times I've been wanting to smoke weed, but I don't. I just don't, man. And besides that, when you're at your job, focus it is, you know, what you're doing at your job. Well, I don't know what John Jones did with that woman, but you know, I just would not want to be in that position. I don't want to have to apologize to somebody that I hurt. You know what I mean? I don't want to apologize to somebody that I hurt. You know, you work around certain things. I got time. Like today, I'm going to be able to sleep this off. I start late tomorrow. I start training. You know, sorry doesn't matter to certain people. And sorry doesn't matter to me. When you hurt me and you fucked up because you were fucked up, sorry isn't going to be, I'm not going to look at sorry. I'm not going to, if you crippled me or you really maimed me in some way, sorry isn't going to work. I won't accept it. You know, like, I won't accept your, you know, everybody's got redemption and things like that, but sorry isn't going to work. So that's why I don't smoke the weed anymore. I love the weed. I've been smoking weed most of my life. Grew weed. I'm an excellent weed grower. I grow a great ass weed, but that's, you know, behind me right now. It's like there's no need for it. And even on the drinking side, yeah, I'm drinking here with you guys right now, but I'm not waking up tomorrow morning and having a beer before I go to fucking work. You know, It's not like in the cards. It's not what I want to do. So just let you guys know, like, hey, weed's all right, but most places, even though it's legal, it's still not advised to be high while at work. Yeah, Prodigy. Hey, man, I'll come and join you. I'll come and yeah, I'll come and join you. Not a problem, man. I'd love to join you. Again, maybe I'll upgrade my equipment so it's a little bit better. But man, I'm excited. I'll collaborate with people. I just don't have. This week I had the time. Lately I don't, and I won't for a while because I'm grabbing that overtime. I'm working like double shifts, so that's why I don't produce the content that I should. Even though I'm doing some research, a lot of research actually, I just don't have the time to do because my computer's horrible to do what I have been doing in terms of producing content. But I'll be happy to join you, Justin. There's nothing personal about like not joining you. I appreciate the invitation. I'm definitely going to join you. And we're going to have fun. We'll chop it up. We'll do our thing. I'll do my sip and smoke. You do your thing. And yeah, for sure, man. I appreciate the invitation, man. I appreciate you reaching out. And that's big, Justin, reaching out even to me. I really appreciate that you're willing to reach out, and consider me worth your time. But I think we could do things. We could do it. Not a problem, man. And that goes with anybody. I'll go on anybody's channel. Wow. Nice cigar. See, when I do the sip and smoke, you forget about losing the other night. Like now, the loss is a little, a little less painful. I'm actually more comfortable, but I'm always accepting of what I do because, like Justin and all of us, being forthcoming, transparency is key. Being honest with our audience, honest with our people. That's the key, man. That's the key, is just being honest. And I appreciate that. Prodigy saying I have good live streaming voice, ability to communicate back and forth. Yeah, he broke even for the UFC London, man. I went hard. Like I said, I went hard on Aspinall. Here's one thing, Justin, for me. Here's a question to you. I hate breaking even. I'd rather lose money like I did than break even. When I break even, it's like, man, I risked all that money, like $1,000, $500, and I got nothing. Right? I'd rather lose the $500. I'd rather lose $1,000. Right? I'd rather risk and lost than attempted something and got nothing. Right? That's just me. I don't know if other people feel that way, but I'm definitely one of those people that, I don't like breaking even. I'd rather lose. And I know that's crazy, but I'd rather lose. Yeah. Prodigy, in this gambling game, I got a little greedy. Yes. I wanted to have a positive outcome. Like at the end of the evening, I already had wagered a lot of them, or good, $400, $500 already. And I was like, I gotta make a statement. I gotta take a stand here. And I've been picking the fights correctly, just not the method. I had Pamela Pimlet winning. I had all the people that I wanted to win, with the exception of Paul Craig, winning, right? And I did a flyer on Gustafsson, which is negligible. But I had to take a stand. I'd be like, you know what? I'm picking things well. Even though I'm not gambling well, I'm doing okay. So I had to go all in on Aspinall. I had to. And I threw the bigger bet on there. You know, we're talking like $500, 5 units, to try to like come up. And it didn't work out for me. So it is what it is. Aspinall lost that fight legitimately. Anybody that says anything differently, and again, I admire Blades, how well he handled that, how humble he was. Because unlike Sean O'Malley, he wasn't up in the dude's face, he wasn't raising his fist. He was disappointed when he shouldn't have been. He should have been like calling people out. He should have been like, the dude kicked my leg and he couldn't handle this body. You know, there are so many ways that he should have played it, but he's a good-natured. He comes from De La Salle, Chicago. I didn't know he was from De La Salle. I knew he was from Chicago. And De La Salle here is a good Catholic school, right? And he's an Illinois state champion. And the thing about De La Salle, where it's located on the south side of Chicago, they produce good, and I don't want to try to be racist or anything, like they produce great African-American students and athletes. And there's not a lot of places that do that any longer. And that shows, like, that he's from De La Salle, Chicago. I should not bet against them. Should not bet against people from De La Salle, Chicago, because has a character that aids, and you could see it in the way he behaved, that aids him to become a better professional. Like, that guy, Chris Blades, could be successful at anything he does. He doesn't even have to be a fighter. You come out of De La Salle, you know, you're going to be a successful person in life, right? That they produce great young African-American and other Mexican, other Latinos, white, whatever, great Catholic school with a rich history. I used to wrestle there. Like, we had tournaments at De La Salle. They offered wrestling tournaments to public schools and to public people. They hosted the Chicago Public Parks wrestling tournaments when I was a kid. And we always loved I loved going to De La Salle. Their mats were always nice. It was an older school, but you already felt this sense of pride and this, you felt like you were part of, like, you're in a real wrestling zone when you went to De La Salle. And I remember that as a kid. We always remembered loving being on their main mats, where it's like a big yellow and blue. It was just cool, right? When you're on there and you're there, you wanted to perform. You knew you were on the big stage. And I got to get, you know, that guy, you know, Blades, man, I'm telling you, I'm not betting against Blades again for a while. Oh, man. Yeah, Gustafsson is done. That guy's done. Should not be fighting anymore. He shouldn't be going to anywhere. You know, I mean, I don't want to rag on him, but man, he almost recovered, but he didn't. Like, didn't recover well. I didn't realize, and here's where I was fault. Krylov had, 14 first round finishes, and a lot of them in the first like 2.5 minutes. And if I'd done better research, I just threw a flyer on it. It was just a whim, in a half unit, not a big deal. But I shouldn't have even gone there. Like, I shouldn't even been in that position to throw $50 on it. It was a waste of $50. But I do that. I'd rather thrown that $50 back on Pimlet. Should have did Pimlet by finish, which I knew could happen, but I really thought that Pimlet would work for the TKO. Yeah. Real News saying the same aggression pressure they got Krylov trouble against Craig got him the win here. Yeah. Krylov's legit. Like, the guy, like, he's got good wrestling chops. He's got good counter wrestling. Even probably good counter jiu-jitsu. He just, that one, I really thought that Paul Craig's hands were better than what they were. He couldn't grip Ozdemir well. I thought that he had that vice grip, that level of jiu-jitsu grip that is unique, right? There are certain guys, like, as I mentioned before, I met, like, not Gable, Mr. Gable and this other jiu-jitsu guy one time, and I shook their hands. I mean, it hurt me. You know what I mean? And I thought he had that level of grip that was just devastating, and it didn't show, right? Like Ozdemir was able to pull out, because Ozdemir has a strong lower body. When he was going for those ankle locks and those, like, his lower body, his legs are really thick. His takedown ability, well, was it 87% takedown defense? We saw why. I think Craig attempted 15, if not 16, takedown attempts and failed at every single one of them. And so we also see, again, there are levels to this European, even in Europe. And I think, and here's here's my criticism of the English and that realm of MMA, is they got to get their wrestling up, right? They got to get their wrestling up. It's not the same. It's not on par with the rest of Europe. The jiu-jitsu is. The jiu-jitsu is spectacular. But the wrestling level of the English, Scottish, and the other people in Great Britain is just not there. And they got to improve that. And if they do, like, they're going to be tough. They're going to be some tough, because they got great hands, tough motherfuckers, hard to finish, but they got to improve that wrestling. No, I'm not done with the fight breakdowns. It's just I don't have this computer is really hard to make my content, and I'm at work, and it takes a long time to make my fight breakdowns, and I just haven't had the ability to invest the time, or it isn't worth the squeeze, right? But I'm not done with my fight breakdowns. I am going to go full in. I'm not going to take a break on gambling this next card. I'm going to take some risks, but I'm definitely getting a new computer, and you're going to start to see I'm going back to the fight breakdowns, because I do have the downtime while I'm at work. I'm going to start making that content again, and you're going to see the old Bob Better with my fight breakdowns, my statistical analysis, my gambling analysis. I'm going to go back with it, and it's just a little bit of time, and we're going to be there. The live streaming with the sip and smoke, I enjoy though. Like, I really enjoy right now. Like, this cigar is still friggin' awesome. Like, I'm having the beer hug, which is good, strong IPA. It's a simple beer, but man, I still like doing this sip and smoke thing. Is something I'd like to do, because maybe one day I'll sip and smoke with a fighter here, or somebody else will come in, and we'll just talk, and we'll just chop it up, and we don't even have to talk fighting. Like, we'll talk about life or something like that. The fighter interviews are not my thing. I'm not interested in, here's the thing, like, I don't need it, and the fighters don't need it. Like, I think that the fact that fighters are getting into social media is actually hurting some fighters. I think it's hurt Brandon Moreno, even though I'm going to still bet him. I think Amanda Nunes, for example, it hurt her. It's hurting boxers. I think this everybody wants to be Conor McGregor. Everybody saw the success that he has, and they want to be participants in the social media, where I don't think it really helps them. I don't think it adds anything to them or provides them a genuine benefit. So I've never thought of getting into the fighter interviews. I wouldn't mind getting into the sip and smoke, like when people smoke weed with Mike Tyson, the Nelk boys, which I think are lame. Like they don't ask any good questions. They're not really involved in any people. So, but I think myself in the future, if somebody comes on, or if I do a sip and smoke, or if I could get in because I could run a studio here. Like, I'll be more than happy if I get a good fighter, like Bilal Muhammad, I want to interview, for example. I'd love to sit down with him and talk about a few things, and I'll rent the studio out, and then we'll do our sip and smoke thing with him. He don't have to sip and smoke, but I'll sip and smoke. But this is purely for fun. Again, and I think that the fighter is doing a lot of the media. The more media you do, it's risky. It's helping Patty, right? Patty's got it. You know, he got that money from them. Molly McCann, same thing, but I don't think the media helps fighters at all. And they don't get paid for it. That's why I think, like, I'd rather be a producer or a writer, for example, for Cowboy Cerrone. I could help Cowboy Cerrone, like, helping his production, helping his writing team. You don't inhale cigars. Kyung Butter. Justin Jr. knows because his grandfather used to probably smoke cigars. Like, cigars were a common thing amongst gentlemen back in the day. Like, cigarettes were thought of as a little bit more unclassy, and if you smoke cigars, you're a little bit more of a gentleman. And I'm a gentleman. I like to think of myself as a gentleman, but we don't inhale the cigars. But I think, yeah, going back, I think that the social media is hurting fighters. I think that fighters should go back to not doing the social media, staying, like, look at what it did to Brandon Moreno. I think that 1 year that he was, like, and he had to do it, right? I'd agree with him. He was a Mexican champion. Mexico's never had a champion like him before. He went out there and promoted MMA, promoted the UFC, and it hurt him a little bit, right? Because you get away from that grind. And you look at Amanda Nunes. Like, you being a champion, you move here to the States, you start like, oh, you fall in love with the championship, you fall in love with the nicer things, and you're not out there grinding like that other woman or that other man out there. You know, look at Rocky 3, you know, with Mr. T. You know, you're not as hungry, like, and you're not doing the things that make you hungry. And I think that happens with a lot of these champions. And that's why I think, you know, Sean O'Malley isn't going to want to fuck with Peter Yan. Because Peter Yan's one of those guys that... Yeah, I mean, you could say that, Prodigy, that it didn't hurt her. It was like her first cut to 135 in 2 years. I get it. She had an off night. But why do you have an off night when you're a professional? When you're a professional, when you're grinding, you don't have those off nights. So, yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you, Prodigy. I agree with you, Justin. You know, and it does help financially. I get it. You could sell pictures of your feet. You know, I get it. OnlyFans, you're making more money sometimes on the social media than you are in the fighting. But at the same time, are you fighting or you want to fight to make social media? Right? So, I myself, I think it's better to stay off of the social media because even if you're on top, you don't have to go there. If you can't, Conor McGregor is an anomaly. Not everyone's going to be able to do what Conor McGregor does. Look at Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz, you know how those guys made that money? What kind of simps are into feet pics? Hey, a lot of people like feet. I like feet. I've been known to kiss some feet. You know, some foot. Hey, I look at women's feet. And they got nice clean feet. You could see some women that got some nasty ass feet. You stay away from those women. You start to see like that wear on the bottom of their hooves and their nails aren't really done. Even though they're hot, you're like, what's wrong with this woman's feet? You know, because a lot of women are fake. A lot of men are fake too, but a lot of women have a lot of fake shit. That's another story, but no, I didn't lose any dignity. I like feet. Women with clean feet are keepers. Like, but you know what? Here's the other difference: is most women that work hard have bad feet. Nurses, that's why they wear, you ever notice, next time you guys are around, look at a nurse. They wear the Crocs, or they wear very good running shoes and very good socks, because they're on their feet all day. Waitresses, on their feet all day, they work for a living. They wear nice shoes. Waitresses, you know. And some women, if they're not a good working woman, and he doesn't like where I'm going with this. No, where I'm going with this is working women have bad feet, and it's because like we work on our feet all day. I have multiple shoes, right? I change out my shoes all the time. I don't like my boots because they're not able to breathe. Like, and I've mentioned this before, I like my Asics, I like my New Balance, I like my Nike. I like very, very good running shoes to work. I wear Merrells. What am I wearing right now? I'm wearing Merrells right now. I like my Merrells. I wear very, very good shoes. My dress shoes are always Clark's. I wear very nice shoes all the time. And why do I wear them? Because they're good. I don't want to wear crap shoes. I have bad feet. I got bad feet. You want to kiss my feet? I'm like, when I go to the spas, which I have been before, and like they want to start fucking with my feet, and I let them know, like, careful, these feet are not good. And I love it when they're like, no worries, we've seen worse. Like, you know, when I go to I'll get a mani-pedi, I'll get my feet done and feet rubbed, and they'll scrub the shit off my foot, my heels and shit, man. Oh, I feel bad for the ladies, you know, but that's their job. That's why you pay them fucking $60 to fucking scrub your feet, you know. Well, I'm almost done with the cigar. We're going to be done with this stream here in a little bit. I really appreciate all you guys coming in. In the meantime, do you guys have any questions about the next card? Let's jump into actual little MMA here real fast, and we're going to make it fast. We're not going to, like, 15 minutes. Any best bets? I don't think there's any props yet out there with this, but again, my main bets are going to be Alexander Pantoja on the money line, big time. I'm going to go big on him, and I want to cover the chalk, the minus 250 on Drew Dober. Like, the guy just impressed me last time, and I think we're going to get a value on Drew Dober at minus 250. It's just hard to throw that big money on him. Like, even $500, man. You know, you're making $200 on a $500 risk. And I'm not comfortable with that, but I might have to do something like that, because those are my main bets. My main bets are Drew Dober, Alexander Pantoja at minus 159, and in fact, I think that I might do a max bet of 5 units on Pantoja. $500 wins me $315, and that might be my only bet that evening. Maybe not. I'm Pantoja could grapple too. You know, I mean, he had a little break. There was something wrong with Pantoja for a little bit, but it's going to be a risk for me, but I might be there. Good cigar, guys. See? Let the cigar do what it does. You thought it was a bad roll. It wasn't a bad roll. It really was just that it was so dry. So I smoked these down to the nub. Yeah. Pantoja's got good grappling, man. But, you know, we've seen the two things with the Brazilians, man. What is it? Hey, Justin. What's your opinion on Brazilians and cardio? And wrestling? Like, why is it that the Brazilians have trouble with their cardio and their wrestling? Like, there's no reason. They're great jiu-jitsu practitioners, but why is jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, not translate into good MMA wrestling? You know, we see some guys that are able to do it, but why is their jiu-jitsu not translating into good MMA grappling? Is the question. You know, because the wrestling and the cardio is lacking, bro. You know, if they don't get that sub in the first round, too many of these Brazilians are gassing. Or just like at Hall with my guy Muniz, like he just, you know, just didn't change anything. He was able to wrestle somewhat, and he had Hall, who sucks. But I think that if Muniz had better wrestling, he would have been able to get a more favorable position, right? Just like Craig, if he had better wrestling, he'd be able to get that top position that he wants. You're not going to win a lot of these bouts off your back, right? So that's my question is like with Brazilians, I'm not trying to down Brazilians. Like, why is it that the Brazilians wrestling or the Brazilian jiu-jitsu and their grappling is not translating into jiu-jitsu, into their winning? Prodigy saying that some Brazilians have great cardio, like Oliveira. Well, Oliveira is a weight class, little bit of a lightweight. I think he's a little bit of an anomaly. Right? We're talking about the champ, you know, and I don't understand it because I know Brazilians go. They could go, man. I don't mean to. I'm gonna probably get slack for it, but I don't. No, they got it. They could bring it. But we've seen a lot of Brazilians that have incredible jiu-jitsu with no wrestling. And the wrestling doesn't, or their jiu-jitsu is not able to shine through past the second round. Right? If they don't get that first round submission, they end up losing. And we've seen that again and again and again. And I think that, you know, we're going to see with Nunes. I think Nunes, that's why like the sharps are, the sharps at the casino are with Pena because of her lack of cardio. Like, I don't get it. Well, guys, I'm going to call it a stream. I appreciate everybody that's been in here. We've been sipping and smoking. Great afternoon. I appreciate everybody that's been in here. Hopefully I'll make some other content. I'll definitely make another sip and smoke, hopefully, during the week. I will be busy, but if I don't, again, my main bets are going to be Alexander Pantoja and Drew Dober. Like, those are my two main picks. If you parlay them, you're at plus 128. I think that is a good go. And then if you made it this far, you are about better. And I'm going to give you my pick. I've been on Ankalaev Magomedov for so long. I've been on his side. He's been one of my money makers for a bit. I'm switching. I'm going to throw some money on Anthony Smith here to possibly win this out at plus 350. I'm going to grab that. I'm going to grab him at plus 350. And I'm going to also go with Derek Lewis at that minus 124 number. But again, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. Have a good week. Let me know what you guys are doing in the chat. But again, and as we've made it this far, you are about better.